Hi, today we are going to be looking at animal in urban environment, and I'm going to be telling you about some research on how they affected by this environment. Now, in evolutionary time, urban environment represent upheaval, the sort of major change that usually happen over millions of years, and we used to think that only a few species could adapt to this environment. One species which is well known as being highly adaptable is the crow, and there have been various studies about how they manage to learn English new skill. Another successful species is the pigeon, because they are able to perch on ledge on the walls of city buildings just like they once perched on cliff by the sea. But in fact, we are knowing finding that these early immigrants were just the start of more general movement of animals into cities, and of adaptation by this animal to city life. And one thing that researchers are finding especially interesting is the speed with which they are doing this. We're not talking about gradual evolution here. These animals are changing fast. Let me tell you about some of the studies that have been carried out in this area. So in the University of Minnesota, a biologist called Emily Snell-Ruth and her colleagues looked at the specimen of urban small mammals such as mice and groupers that had been collected in Minnesota and that are now kept in museum there. And she looked at specimens that had been collected over the last 100 years, which is a very short time in evolutionary time, and she found that during that time these small mammals had experienced a jump in brain size when compared to rural mammals. Now we can be sure this means they are more intelligent, but since the size of the part of the body didn't change, it does suggest that something cognitive was going on, and Snell-Ruth thinks that this change might reflect the cognitive demands of adjusting to city life, having to look in different places to find food, for example, and coping with a whole new set of dangers. Then over in Germany at the Max Planck Institute, there's another biologist called Katharina Marinda who done some experiment with blackbird living in urban and rural area, and she's been looking not at their anatomy but at their behavior. So as you might expect, she's found that urban blackbirds tend to be quite bold. They are prepared to face up to a lot of threats that would frighten away their country's counterparts. But there's one type of situation that does seem to frighten the urban blackbird, and they've anything new, anything they have been experienced before. And if you think about it, that quite sensible for a breed living in the city. Jonathan Atwill in India University is looking at how a range of animals respond to urban environment. He's found that when they are under stress, their endocrine system reacts by reducing the amount of hormones such as corticosteroid into their blood. Is a sensible seeming adaptation. A rat that gets scared every time a subway train rolls but won't be very successful. There's just one more study I'd like to mention, which is by Sarah Parton and her team, and they've been looking at how squirrels communicate in urban environment, and they found that routine part of their communication is carried out by waving their tails. You do also see this in the country, but it's much more prevalent in cities possible because it's effective in noise environment. So what are their long-term implications of this? One possible is that we may see completely new species developing in cities, but on the other hand, it's possible that not all this adaptation will be permanent. One that animal got accustomed To its new environment, it may no longer need the future is developed. So now we had a look